Yeah, it's because me and Reggie are the only two black single guys in this whole community, and everybody keeps confusing us. I walk into dinner and hear, "Hey, Reggie." I'm like, "No, I'm the other Reggie, the one whose name is pronounced Mike." In my head, I'm thinking, Lord, they really believe all black men look alike? Meanwhile, Reggie looks like the retired Navy version of light skinned Denzel Washington. I'm like, why don't you all confuse me with that part? And I am terrible with names. Someone walks up like, "Hi, Mike." And I'm like, "Hey, champ, buddy, sweetheart, friend." Meanwhile, in my head, I'm screaming my "you've known them 10 years. You cannot ask their name now." So I just pray somebody else will walk by and say their name out loud. I'm like, yes, saved by the bell. Now, let's talk about some characters in this community. I'm changing names to protect the innocent and the guilty. First up, the couple I'll call Dan and Marla. Sweet couple, very nice. But the first time I met them, they said something wild. They said, "We've been through 7 beds." I said, "7 beds? Since when?" They said, "Oh, since we moved into this community." I said, "Lord, know what kind of vitamins you all taken?" I was about to ask them for the brand because clearly I need whatever they are on. Then I found out they run a bed and breakfast. I said, "Oh, okay, that explains it. I thought you all had a whole different kind of business going." But still, even after that, every few months they're like, "We got a new bed." I said, "You all got more beds than Mattress Firm." And poor Marla is in that little wheelchair. Now, I said, "See, that's what happens when you buy the wrong bed. You better slow down before Medicare calls you directly." Now, let me tell you about my memory. People say I look young, but my brain is 100 years old. If you tell me something now, I might remember it next year. Somebody says, "Mike, don't forget the party at 6 p.m. next week." I show up a 6 a.m. the next year, holding a Virgin Bloody Mary like, am I early? Where's the party? I swear my brain is running Windows 95. Every time I try to remember something, I hear the dial-up internet noise. But being that forgetful actually saves me. It's why I can stay calm around some of the characters here. For example, one morning at breakfast, I lifted the lid and saw a bagel with salmon on it. I said, "What in the seafood donut is this?" Someone said, "Mike, it's lox and bagels." I said, "Oh, that fancy Jewish people breakfast sandwich." I tried it and said, "Oh, this is good. This is bougie delicious." I look at Tommy, big tough Marine, and said, "Tommy, if the boys back in the Corp see us eating lox and bagels, they will take away our veteran cards today. Listen, if the Jews wandered in the desert for 40 years looking for the promised land, I found mine here, this community. The spa water alone could make you convert." Now I gotta talk about Faye, our sweetheart. I see her more at the bar than I see the bartenders. One day Mickey, our honorary black guy, comes up and says Faye got a letter and it's a love letter. I said, "A love letter from who?" He said, "From a prisoner." Then Faye brings me the letter and showed me a picture of him. And I look at it and say, "Hey, that looks like my uncle." I told Faye, "Oh yeah, other than robbing that bank, he's a good man. I fully support this relationship." So Faye decides to meet him once he's released. He sits down for his first dinner here, takes one bite, looks up and says, "You know, food in prison was better than this." I said, "Oh Lord, here we go." He said, "Faye, this relationship is over." He said, "I'm going back to prison. At least they season their food." Folks, when an ex-con chooses prison food over this place, you know the chef took the salt away. Now, I gotta talk about Miss Bonnie, but we're calling her Miss Pearl tonight. Miss Pearl tells me one day, there were 15 kids in my family. I said, 15? I asked, how old was your mama when she had the last one? Miss Pearl said, I don't know. I said, Miss Pearl, with that many kids, at some point, I guess, you stop counting. Then someone at the table said the most disrespectful thing. They said, well, she probably passed because she was worn out. I said, oh my God, you can't say that. But Miss Pearl nodded like, Well, she did look tired toward the end. That's when I realized this community is dangerous. You all look innocent until the shade starts flying. Before I wrap up, let me say this. This place is full of care. I love it. It feels like family. The kind of family that talks behind your back, but also brings you soup when you're sick. And if I forgot anybody's name tonight, just remember, my brain is 100 years old. So if I offended anybody, just blame Reggie. People confuse us anyway. And before I go, Miss Pearl, happy birthday. Hit it, Reggie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Miss Pearl. Happy birthday to you. I'll see you all next week. Boom. Drop the mic.